afternoon, everybody, and welcome. We're back now with Activating Activism, episode 5. We're going to be joined by a very special young human very soon. I know that she's just coming on now, so I'm going to invite her in so she can come and say hello and introduce herself. Nice to see you guys from State of Nature. I can see you've joined us as well. They were our first guests on. Just waiting now. And here we have her. Hello there, Inaaya. How are you?
I am well, thank you. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thanks very much. Now, recently with the interviews I've been doing, I've decided that instead of me preparing a few sentences saying, this is this person, blah, 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 I think it's easier for somebody to actually introduce themselves and tell us more about themselves. So, Inaaya, tell us about you.
So, my name is Inaaya and I'm 11 years old. I live in London in the United Kingdom and I love baking, doing karate, and I love watching and looking at nature and learning about how we can make our world a better place.
Fantastic. I love karate as well. Now, I don't personally do karate, my daughter does, which reminds me actually, we've got to sign her up to next year's lessons. I'll be down to the sports centre for that one soon. So Inaaya, I first met you a few months ago actually, at the Kids Against Plastic Connect. Well, obviously I personally am not a kid against plastic. I am a dad of a kid against plastic. How did you hear about Kids Against Plastic?
I think that I sort of found them on Instagram, so I was looking for a load of their posts and I really like Kids Against Plastic, and then when I found out that they had a fortnightly club, I was really, really excited to join. So when I ended up joining, I was really, really excited to join, and it was probably the best decision I've ever made in my whole life.
It was definitely a good decision. I mean, it was great for me to meet you there and to see, like, you know, for me as an adult, to see yourself and the other members of the club like growing and learning the whole time. I know for my daughter Alethea, it's been a wonderful experience. So, I've seen quite a lot about you all over Instagram, here, there, and everywhere, and other places as well that you'll talk about a bit later. But I'd like to know what inspired you to get into environmentalism.
Well, I mean, being climate conscious has always been mainly part of my upbringing, and my parents taught me as a child about how to always stay eco-friendly and all the eco-friendly options I could do. For an example, like turning off the lights when I wasn't in a room, turning off the electrics when I wasn't using it, and saving water by turning off the tap when I was brushing my teeth, and avoiding buying single-use plastic items. And if I ever used too much plastic, my parents would make up the joke and say that I was the oncer from the Lorax, and the oncer was a person who didn't care about their environment and would cut down the trees for absolutely no purpose. And living in London, where I live, there is a lot of litter and pollution everywhere, and as everybody else, I absolutely hate it. And people also inspired me, like Greta Thunberg, David Attenborough, William Kamkwamba, and obviously Kids Against Plastic. And I loved watching Blue Planet as a child by David Attenborough, and that's how I learned about nature and wildlife and animals. And all of this has sort of inspired me to get into environmentalism.
So yeah, so many different aspects. I mean, I know that when I was younger, when I was a child, the idea of environmentalism was, I mean, it was obviously there. It existed. You know, the climate doesn't change overnight. That's quite obvious. We've got a question there from State of Nature. They've asked, who's your favourite environmental activist and why?
Oh, that's a hard one. I think I've got 3. Amy and Ella, obviously the first 2. Everybody loves Amy and Ella. And also you and Ali. You guys are really inspiring and you're my favourite environmental activists as well.
Shucks.
Yeah, so those are my favourites.
Got warm in here suddenly. You're making me blush. You're one of mine, by the way, just so you know.
Nice to know.
So what area do you mainly focus on? I know it's impossible to focus on all aspects of the environment because, you know, if we did that, well, we'd be busy all day trying to fight everything. So what are your kind of main focuses?
Well, I do have a few. So my first one is the litter issue and the use of unnecessary plastic items that we use. And I want to sort of add adding climate change as part of the national curriculum. But did you know that it takes 15 years to change the national curriculum? And at that rate, nothing can really be done about climate change. And I sort of listened to a podcast really recently. It was about a gal, and she just graduated university, and the last time she heard of the term climate change was when she was 12 years old, and that was the only time she ever heard about it. So therefore, it is like incredibly important that all schools teach us, the younger generation, as young as possible about climate change and the horrible effects they can do to our environment. And they can create good habits as young people to help the environment stay healthy and to stop the destruction of our planet as well.
100%. I mean, it's funny you say about changing the national curriculum takes so long, because here in Spain, we've actually passed a new education law. It's called the LOMLOE. I can't tell you exactly what it means because I don't remember. But there is a section of it, I don't know why I'm doing it in a box like this, but there is a section of it that says that by the end of primary school, students need to be like aware of sustainable behaviours, the link between global and local issues. So like something like that, and it's changed, you know, almost overnight. If you want to read more about it, there'll be a blog out very soon on ELT learning journeys written by this guy. But anyway, it's so easy to kind of add those things in there, in my opinion. What I want to know as well, as a young person that you are, I was once, not anymore, sadly. Now, it must be really difficult not to get the kind of eco-anxiety. What can you do to avoid it?
So eco-anxiety is definitely real, and it's very, very hard to avoid eco-anxiety, especially when you see the news headlines about floods, rising sea levels, forest fires, burning of the Amazon rainforest, the rising temperatures, and the melting of the glaciers. But over the recent years, most of us have felt this firsthand. For an example, the extreme weather conditions, such as very hot summers and loads of heat waves and extremely heavy rainfall and thunder and lightning like I've never seen before. And I do deal with eco-anxiety by turning the anxiety into energy, which is then turned into action by maybe litter picking or bringing awareness to relatives, cousins, friends, and encouraging them to think about their day-to-day actions, like what they buy when they go shopping, for an example. And also, Instagram is a great way to release eco-anxiety by speaking to like-minded people just like you.
I love that. I'm quoting you on that. I turn anxiety into action. That is brilliant. That needs to be like a quote all over Instagram. You know, I can't wait for that one. That's brilliant. Turn anxiety into action. That is so good. And you know, for myself, I have a very similar kind of thing with when it comes to eco-anxiety, because I get really worried about the future, about this, about the other. Somebody says you're definitely kept in check there. I love that. Good to have somebody to keep us all in check. But yeah, I get worried about the future, and I was reading an article today about there's a change between generations, and so my generation are having fewer children because of the environmental impact, whereas the next generation along, so you know, your generation, my daughter's generation, obviously people a bit older, are thinking of not having children, not because of the environmental impact, but because of a fear that the world they'll be born into will be one that's, you know, full of eco-anxiety and things like that. So anyway, that's just me going off at a tangent. Now again, I'm a teacher, I'm an adult. I want to know, so what specifically would you like to learn about? Now, what I've seen from you, I've seen a great, and you know, I've only known you for a few months, but like watching you on Instagram, I've seen an amazing like evolution through your thoughts, you know, and I can see at first, you know, it started as something quite small, but you know, you're growing with it. And something wonderful about children, about young people, is they love to learn, they love to take new things on board. So what would you like to learn about?
So I am doing my best to substitute everyday items as well as being more responsible for my behavior and making good decisions and also wasting less. But deep down in my heart, I know that it's not enough, and I really want to learn about what I can do as an individual, what we can do as a family, and what we can do as a community, and what we can do as a school to help defeat the climate crisis. Because the climate crisis and the climate change affects everyone, no matter how old or young you are, no matter which country you live in, no matter what language you speak, and no matter what religion you follow. I mean, climate change just affects everyone.
So true. So beautifully put. How are you only 11? How are you only 11? This is ridiculous. You should at least be 17 by now. This is crazy. And another thing, one more thing. Oh, here we go. Somebody's saying, Inaaya going to be an amazing student, is going to achieve a lot in life. Yes, she most certainly is. I can tell you that. I can see that from here right now. I've got one more question. As an adult, again, my apologies, everybody. Physically, I'm an adult. Mentally, I'm still about 14. But anyway, so I love listening to younger people. I love listening to the ideas of younger people. I love sitting there in the background of CAP Club meetings, listening to people's ideas and all the different things that they've been doing. Sadly, a lot of adults don't. A lot of adults don't love listening. A lot of adults think they know better. A lot of adults think, I'm here to teach them, so they need to listen to me. What is one thing? So if you could say one thing to adults listening now, what would it be?
I would say that you're never too big or small to make a difference, and even the tiniest actions can change the world, like teaching others about the climate crisis or exchanging single-use plastic items in your house for the reusable option as well. And also, one day, all of this will eventually pay off, and we will all live a greener and cleaner life because of you. And every generation should pass on a healthy planet to the next generation as well. And they should leave the planet the way that they are it's left in for them. So the way they found their planet, it should be how they leave it as well.
I love that. I love that idea. Now, there's something I remember reading a while back, and it was, we shouldn't be leaving the planet to our children. We should realize that we're borrowing it from them. So, I wish more adults would kind of wake up to that. I know that I've been an activist for various things since as long as I can remember. You may have seen a post from when I went back to Wales. There was me as a 4-year-old campaigning for a library. But it's not been until probably the last 15 years that it's been to do with the climate and such. So I'm quite a way behind you, but hopefully with people like you, with people like Kids Against Plastic and Sky, who I interviewed last week as well in episode 4, hopefully with people like you out there speaking, making a difference, we do have some hope for the future. I believe Kids Can mentioned that in a comment back there. We've had quite a few people commenting. So I'm going to say thank you. This has been brilliant. I'm going to tell everybody watching, I've been trying to get Inaaya in an interview now I'm going to check back here to the date, see if I can get it. Since back in June, I've been trying to get hold of her, but she's very elusive. She's been doing a lot of different things. She's been here, there, and everywhere. She's been on the telly. She's been out collecting litter. She's been down to Bournemouth collecting litter on the beach. So before I say goodbye, would you like to say something else about those cool things that you've done and where you've been?
So I have recently been on the Womble, so it's an amazing place. I went and I learned a lot from there. But also very soon I have a few exciting projects coming up as well, and I'll be presenting my own radio show very soon, and I'll be taking all things climate related and talking about all those sort of things while playing the best top songs out there as well. And I think it's a great way to spread the word while making it fun and also reaching a larger audience as well. And my first show will probably be on Saturday, the 4th of September at 5 p.m. So if you want to see it, it's on www.24hoursradio.com, and I'll send you obviously more details about it as we go along. And I hope you'll message me throughout and enjoy the show.
Oh, wow, I can't wait. That's awesome. That is amazing. Oh, that's so exciting. I'm sure we'll hear more about that in the next Cap Connect, which is on the very same day, I believe. Wow, that is brilliant. Thank you so much. I'm even more impressed than I already was, and I didn't know if that was possible, but apparently it is. Right then. I'm going to let you go and go about your day. I can't wait to hear your radio show and continue watching you on Instagram, growing and helping influence others on becoming better people, more climate active. And now to interview Harry on the radio. That sounds like a brilliant idea. I am absolutely up for that. I would love it. You know where to find me, Inaaya.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure. I'll speak to you soon. Oh, Alicia just gave me a post-it. I'll speak to you soon, Inaaya.
Okay, will do.
Bye-bye.
Bye.